Thought for 6 minutes and 48 seconds, which is
Kind of
new
insane.
personal record.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hey folks, welcome back to the Feature Crew. So today we spent the $200 to get O1 Pro, and we're going to be putting it through its paces. So we were very impressed with O1. I'm going to be taking O1 Pro through a very similar set of tests, and we just want to see, like, right now, is it worth the kind of money? Is it substantially better than O1?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we're getting started with the first prompt we did previously, which was doing a coding problem about creating a procedural planet.
So this is, I just pulled up a plug for our O1 review video. We'll link it in the description. We gave it the same prompt and it was able to make this lumpy ball. We want to see how well Pro mode can do, but we'll keep pushing it through the same prompts that we gave the full O1, and we'll see. We might come up with some new prompts if it totally outclasses O1.
Let's go.
I'll switch over to O1 Pro mode and I'll send off the prompt.
There it is. In general, it does think for quite a bit longer, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
you're testing.
Often things for a minute or more.
Yeah, it definitely feels like you're burning more GPUs when it's got a big long loading bar. You're like, all right, this is working.
And it thought for a minute and a half, so let's see what it looks like.
So basically, is it failed to compile? Error.
Oh no, this is a real mistake.
Oh.
This is basically an index out of bounds on the shader.
Okay, let's give it that error and see if it fixes itself. But so the fact that O1 got it in one shot, we were actually quite impressed.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if it can redeem itself. If it can take this error and make something beautiful, maybe it's redeemed. But the very first thing does make a lot of sense. It seems kind of worse than O1 just with this test.
We're not setting it up for success. We didn't give it a very detailed prompt. We're kind of just letting it interpret it.
Okay, so we've just tried to piece it together, and it's still not made a coherent file.
I think I'm gonna give it one more shot with a more detailed prompt just to see, like, because I would love to see it. I know it can be a little better than O1. So we're giving O1 Pro another chance here. It wasn't doing as well of a job with a hard problem and an ambiguous prompt.
Yep.
So let's see if it's better with a longer, more detailed prompt and doing more in one go.
Yep.
So we've given it 4.0 generated this prompt, and it's just like a high-level description, and then it goes through requirements, some features, and it gets pretty advanced, like clouds. I remember when No Man's Sky was in development, the clouds were like constantly discussed. So it's like there are some difficult things in here. We'll see how much of it can complete.
Can't find variable 3.
This was not an error in its logic. It's an error in like including the dependencies.
What if it's amazing? What if once we fix this error, it's like, wow, just a planet with clouds?
That's what's keeping me going, dude. It was so confident with the long code. Confusing, right? Because it's like,
It should be working.
I'm never giving up on this.
Run. Okay.
Whoa!
Okay. Okay.
Yes! Yes!
we spent quite a while doing that, but it worked. And this looks okay. This was a more impressive first shot.
Wow.
Than O1.
Okay. So this is pretty cool. It's
Mm-hmm.
rotating. It's got a water effect going on. Are those supposed to be clouds?
They're also implying elevation.
They're more than implying elevation. There is elevation, and then they're coloring it to match. It just looks like a shader that's being rendered on the water and below the land.
Yeah. Definitely some shade above.
Oh, interesting. First change the seed. Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa, hey, that's
Terrain
pretty
roughness.
impressive.
Wow. I mean, it did.
Oh, look, it's getting mountainous.
I mean, it's getting madness. It is.
Biome thresholds, atmosphere color. So it really implemented a lot. One thing that I'm really impressed with here is the thinking time, and then how the thinking time translated into this really long file that implemented a lot of the requirements in that prompt. It was like a 10 requirement spec, basically.
Yeah.
And even though it messed up on some of the cloud stuff, I don't know if we could get this out of one. We never got this far in the other video with O1. Again, check it out if you're curious. Cloud speed.
Oh,
the clouds move.
We gave it a big prompt. It thought for 3 minutes. Came back with this. So playing to its strength, it seems to do much better. We were fiddling around with making it actually work.
Now we kind of want to see for like more general business applications, how does O1 Pro compare to O1 Full? Yep. We're not going to give it the full prompt, the same exact prompt that we gave in the last video that checked out O1 Full. What we're going to do this time is ask it first what its knowledge cutoff is, and then we're going to try to ask it to make some large-scale business economic predictions past its knowledge cutoff, because then we'll be able to verify that, since the knowledge cutoff should be at least a year ago, and we'll have some time in between. Okay, so we're gonna ask it to work through, since it's knowledge cutoff, predict the biggest and winners and losers in the market for like every season, basically every quarter. We're expecting like from some point last year through this year, and then I asked it to keep going into the first quarter of next year. So let's see what it comes up with.
Boy.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So let's start at the top. The key assumptions and themes. I like the way it did this, right? So it definitely honed in on AI and advanced computing driving the market. This is expected. The energy transition makes sense. Pharmaceuticals and biotech, it might be indexing a little more on stuff from COVID, but I think that's fair as well. Consumer and retail, interesting. Cool. Well, let's start to judge its actual predictions. So in late 2023, which is about a year ago now, we're saying the winners are semiconductor manufacturers, select renewable energy companies. The losers are legacy oil and gas. This makes sense. This is sort of what happened.
It's not giving actual stock predictors, which probably makes sense. It doesn't want to be financial advice, but it's not wrong.
So then moving into spring of this year, it was saying again that software and cloud providers would be winners. There was definitely truth to that. They went sustainable materials and specialty chemicals, companies tied to EV batteries. See, this is interesting. So it's
Investor appetite for ESG compliant supply chain.
We haven't seen growing ESG investor appetite, I would say, over the last year.
Losers, legacy automakers, slow in EV adoption, high-end consumer discretionary brands. Not necessarily true. Historically, when times go bad, high-end consumer discretionary brands actually go up. There's that luxury effect. But again, it is a very stable assumption. And let's keep going. But my initial knee-jerk reaction reading this so far has been, it kind of got the big picture, but it's not really piecing together like where the real value was lying.
So with this, we're moving into summer 2024 now, and I'm very curious to see if summer 2024 is when you started to hear a lot of conversation on Wall Street about the AI capex and AI spend and where's the return on investment. So I'm curious if it would be able to intuit that would happen.
I think really interesting is it's predicting a wave of high-profile cyber attacks, which is a pretty specific claim.
That is actually a really specific thing.
Could just be a hallucination.
It could be. It could be. I mean,
there were to its credit.
That's the thing.
Kind of, yeah. Wow.
That's kind of interesting, right? But then this is also true. Like over the summer, there was a lot of talk about the offices still remain underutilized. I mean, that's an easier thing to predict, right?
And fall 2024.
Getting into the fall.
Biotech, overvalued fintech startups. Travel and leisure stocks.
I don't know that I've heard a lot of grid modernization investments explicitly being made. Right, there's sort of a generic, like, we're going to invest in the country, but this is interesting.
I'm impressed, but like this, there will be phase 2 and 3 clinical trials in oncology. Like there were a lot of that this year, more than I ever remember. I haven't seen fintech startups really get crunched.
Yeah.
So far has ignored the fact that there was an upcoming U.S. election, which has now come to pass. And the idea that was part of the financial conversation through the summer and the fall, right? Oh my God! Wait, this one.
Heightened geopolitical tensions and increased defense spending commitments from various government support.
That's a good one.
Social media platforms, mining companies. I mean, okay. On one hand, I'm actually kind of getting freaked out with somehow how topical these are. Like
the defense contractors thing right around the winter. That one's weird. That one's really, really weird.
It's
like things are heating.
Geopolitical tensions.
Yep.
Spring 2025.
Do I want to scroll to the future? Dude, what if I get down there and it's like World War III?
Yeah. EV becomes more mainstream. Okay. Green hydrogen, advanced biofuel, consumer packaged goods with weak innovation.
Meme stock speculators, this is wrong. Well, actually, I guess it could be right by the spring.
But if everything fizzles out by then...
Yeah, but if it had said meme stocks as winners in the winter, then okay. But, it didn't seem to actually know what was going on. It thought that spring 2025 was the time for the turning point for like... I mean, a lot of... Maybe it's over-indexing on the fact that a lot of nations and companies made commitments that come due in 2025, but I think if it had said that the EV and battery system ecosystem leaders are going to do well, and then it had mentioned drones, then I would be like, right?
I don't know if I see a massive improvement over 01, right? Like it's not necessarily gone hugely more. Wow.
Before I'd pay for coding, I would not pay for this level of business analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, more to be found here. We're going to move on to the next one, where we're going to test its logic again.
It's like agentic reasoning. Its ability to have a goal and take a bunch of steps to make that goal a reality and understand its environment, because that's an important part of actually achieving a goal, is that you can put that into practice in the environment that you're currently in.
Yeah.
So we were also impressed at O1 Full's ability to reason agentically on the Tower of London test, which is what we're going to give to O1 Pro here.
Yep.
And we'll start with the same Tower of London test. I can explain it very quickly. Let's see if I have one.
Maybe you can put it into ChatGPT and then it'll show. You can click on them to make a new conversation.
I need to grab the pool. I always get lost where we're on Safari. We need the image. Yes. Okay. So the Tower of London test, if you haven't seen that, again, plug for that video, but if you haven't seen it yet, there's a starting state, and there are a bunch of pegs, and there are these sort of rings on the pegs, and they're stacked up, and of course, because they're stacked, you can only move the top ring at any given time, and the goal is to achieve this goal state, and you can only move one ring at a time. So we've written out those rules, and then also included the image to give O1 Pro the best chance of success here, which is the same thing we did for O1, and when we did that for O1, with some prompting, it was able to eventually solve the problem. And the first model I've ever seen do that. We're hoping that O1 can solve this with no additional prompting, kind of just get to the answer. And if it is able to do that, maybe we'll give it a slightly harder one to see if it can do that as well.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Completed in 4 moves, which I think could be correct.
So what we're going to do is I'll pull up a sort of a free-form whiteboard that has a representation. There's the word. A representation of the test, and so we can kind of track its moves and make it easy to tell what it actually did. On the right, we have the goal state, what we're trying to achieve, and then the starting state is on the bottom, and we'll be kind of updating this live. So just to check that it understood the initial state correctly, peg A is empty, that's correct, and peg B has the green on the bottom and the red on the top. Mm-hmm. This is correct, and then C has blue. Mm-hmm. So it understood the problem based on the image and the text that we gave it. Mm-hmm. And actually, we didn't give it a textual representation. Oh, we did. Did it understand the goal state correctly?
Yeah, green on bottom, blue on top, red, and
empty.
Yep, that's
great.
Right. Okay.
So the first move is to move red from peg B to C.
Okay, correct.
Then move green from peg B to A.
Okay.
Then move red from C to B. And then we're going to move blue to A to complete the puzzle. So great job.
Wow, great job.
Faster than,
All right.
less prompting, less guiding than O1. And now I'm actually really interested to see what happens if we give it a more complicated version of this. So I'm going to add a peg and a couple rings, and then we'll give it, we'll just see how well it can do.
Yeah.
Because it really did feel like O1 Full was kind of at its limit with the 3 pegs.
Yeah.
We're back after a little bit of adjusting the test. We made it much harder. We added pegs, we added rings, we made the actual starting and ending positions of the rings more difficult, that will require more moves. And so this will officially be the hardest Tower of London test we've ever given to a model. Mm-hmm. And in order to make it fair, we want to make sure that O1 has we don't want to just assume that O1 can't do this.
Yeah.
So we're going to give O1 a shot. And then we'll see how it does, and then we'll let O1 Pro take a crack at the really hard version. It's interesting to see O1
think for so long.
I've never seen it think for this long. Okay, well, let's see if it got the initial state right. All right, it just started making up rules.
Yeah, huge assumptions.
Okay.
The initial configuration is correct.
Yeah, goal config looks good. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
And we can then move blue from A to C.
We'll move blue from A to C is the first move.
It's fine. Move purple from A to D. Okay, that makes sense. And it's even making a note to itself. No, eventually we would need green, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of thing. Move B, orange from B to A. Fine. Move blue from C to A. Okay. Move red from B to C. Red is now correctly placed on C. Now we only need to fix D. We want blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. That's thinking. Move purple from D to B. Okay. Move green from B to D. You can't move green. That's all I wanted to go through. So there you go. It got kind of stuck there.
It got stuck.
So it was getting close. This is where it gets stuck, obviously, because now it knows it needs to get green out. And it was saying something. We want green bottom, purple top. Currently D is purple at the bottom and green is still on B. So it kind of already knew what it needed to do, and it kind of messed up here.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the assumptions or whatever, but it was close. It was actually getting kind of close. But this is why we want to add more pegs and disks, because as it goes a bit deeper, it's like, it forgets the
Right.
rules.
And then here, the other interesting thing is that this is the longest I've ever seen O1
Yeah.
think for.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 10 seconds is quite normal for O1 Pro mode.
Yeah.
But for normal O1, it never thinks this long. In the O1 video, it was thinking
30
for
seconds.
sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes less.
5, yeah.
5,
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Thought for a couple of seconds, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that it kind of recognized that this was a hard problem and
Yeah.
then did a pretty good job. It it got pretty far. Let's see if Pro mode, which is almost done.
It's still thinking.
Still thinking.
So it's been going. In the meantime,
Thought for 6 minutes and 48 seconds, which is
Kind of
new
insane.
personal record
Yeah.
for
Kinda
O1
insane.
thinking time.
Absolutely.
yeah. Let us know if you found any any longer reasonings.
I really want to know how much compute I burned. Like how many dollars in compute did I burn here?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so purple bottom top. I'm going to assume that was correct. It kind of looks correct. Goal configuration looks like it understood that, so at least we know it's we need to reach the goal in full moves. Ultimately, we need orange and blue together. So unlike O1, it's already not made some weird assumptions.
Yep.
So that seems good. And now let's follow through. So move blue from A to C. Free the bottom bit, and it's kind of thinking about it. Move purple from A to D. Okay. Move orange from B to A. Okay. And then let's go to step number 4. Move blue from C to A on top of orange. Okay. Now it's in that goal state, correct? Move red from B to C. Great. Now here's the question. Does it know what to do here? Move purple from D to C on top of red. Okay.
Oh,
Here
okay.
we go.
Move green over. Move green from B to D.
Oh yeah.
Move purple from C to
It's
D.
home
on top
free
of
now.
green. Final contract.
Bravo.
Success. That is actually kind of crazy. The fact that it's getting this far, and we'll
Agents on Friday. Agents on Friday. Agents on Friday.
Calling it now. Calling it now.
One was the first model we saw really understand the problem.
Yeah.
And also the first model to complete it.
Yeah.
But O1 Pro seems to be the first one that's like truly has a handle on this.
Yeah.
It didn't make any mistakes, it didn't make any non-optimal moves.
Yeah.
It was killing it. And
Yeah.
like maybe in my free time I'll try to see how far I can push it with
Yeah.
the size of the problem.
Yeah.
We're already past the size of any physically manufactured Tower of London test, I think. So that's part of why this is so impressive is while the Tower of London test and the rules are in the training data, this specific instance of is not. And so it needed to actually, even if it was like basing its reasoning off of reasoning about different instances of the Tower of London test, it still needed to do this translation reasoning, which is something we haven't seen in models. It's why a lot of people have been doomsaying about the AI boom, and it seems like that concern is starting to evaporate, at least for me.
And actually, frankly, very, very impressive. To be fair, when we compare it to like human intelligence, this took 6 to 7 minutes to get to the solution.
Right.
But at least it is getting the solution, right? If we can increase, compute, basically reduce compute time and kind of increase intelligence, that time would go down. But for now, it's
You got to pull the Sama quote in here, which is, "This is the worst these models will ever be."
Right.
Correct.
Any other closing thoughts here?
Whether it's worth $200, I don't know. I feel like the $20 plus, O1 seems to be the real killer here, right? For most uses, you probably don't need Pro. And OpenAI was probably pretty clear with that, right? They were like, hey, this is the kind of brand new $200 wow subscription. So O1 really seems to be the winner. If you need a small percentage increase on top, O1 Pro from our tests seems to be that little bit better. Is it really worth the extra $180? Whereas the $20 to get O1 seems like a no-brainer. Right. The jump that you get from it is frankly very impressive when you have
100%.
everyday tasks. Pretty much most tasks you'll probably be more well off with O1, right? Because it thinks for less as well.
I think that's true. You just got to be really honest with yourself. Am I actually doing cutting-edge queries for this thing, or am I mostly doing pretty run-of-the-mill stuff? And most of us, 99% of us, are going to be perfectly fine with O1.
Yeah.
For now, we'll see what the rest of the 12 days of OpenAI announces. But for now,
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think Chris is right, and let's that's also an opportunity to plug our Sora video. Like, if you are still considering Pro mode, O1 Pro capacity is not the only thing in there.
Yeah.
So definitely check out the Sora video. Definitely keep posted to the rest of the remaining 3 or 4 days of 12 days of OpenAI and see what else rolls out. My prediction is some sort of agent experience on day 12.
Yep.
This model is too good at being agentic for OpenAI to release it and let someone else make the first compelling agent. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
we'll see.
You heard it here first.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Did you buy the Pro subscription?
Yeah.
Do you like O1 Pro? Is O1 good enough? Do they all suck? What do you think? Let us know.
Did you manage to get O1 to think for 7 whole minutes, 10 whole minutes? I'm very curious what you managed.
Yeah.
to
What's
get
your
to.
longest think time? Because we hit almost 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just as always, like if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, give us a subscribe if you want to stay along. We'll be making videos for every OpenAI release in the near future and most of their competitors as well. So stick with us if you want, and let us know what you want us to see us cover in the comments. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.